This video will show you how to set up a PCB impedance test for the first time. It's ideal if you're a new user or if you simply want a reminder. What I'm doing here is showing you graphically the position of the probe and the coupon that you should set up on the screen of the PCB impedance tester. I've got the CITS set up here, and what I'm going to do to demonstrate this is, by trickery of laws of physics, I'm going to slow down the speed of light so you can see the pulse flowing along through the probe and into the coupon and seeing the end of the coupon. So if you watch here at the 50 ohm point, which is looking inside of the probe, and I'll launch the pulse and it'll travel slowly across the screen and up to the open circuit at the end of the coupon. So you can see a bump at the start of the coupon where the launch comes in from the probe, and then a flat area in the center of the coupon, and then the trace rising up to the open circuit at the end. Again, this is the launch aberration. You need to compress the probe tightly to the board to make sure that's kept as small as possible. And here is the rise to the open circuit at the end of the trace. And when you're setting limits, you need to keep clear of these two areas to make sure you get a good impedance test. It's also useful to know if your probe's connected. So one thing you can do is hold the probe in open air and run a test. And you should see the end of the probe rise to an open circuit when there's no coupon present. It's a really useful test, and if you see nothing there, either your probe is set up incorrectly or not connected up tightly to the CITS, or you might find that you've set up the test limits wrongly. You can go in and edit the test setup and adjust the probe length, and this is where you'll set the probe length to the correct length so you can just about see the end of the probe. It's an ideal place to check that the probe is connected correctly. You can also do this automatically, but I've shown it here manually because when you see the manual setup, it makes it much easier for you to fine-tune when you're adjusting different probes or different setups or changing the cables on the system. If you want to set the test limits into a good place in the middle of the trace, away from the start and the end, you can select the vertical cursors, and then you can snap the test limits to the cursor. So that makes it nice and easy to set an area of the test limits away from the launch of the probe and away from the end of the trace. You can also use the wizard, which will set things up for you automatically, but I've shown it to you here manually so you get a really good feel for how to set up the CITS the first time. And that's it. That's a first-time setup of a PCB impedance test complete. Please do subscribe to the Polar YouTube channel and watch our other informational video content. If you'd like more information, please feel free to contact your local office.